My name is Renay, and today I will be explaining my field experience involvement, including discussions with the special education teacher, the students I worked with, the activity that was done, and the strategies used. When I first met with Ms. Weinhold, our certified special education teacher, we sat down to discuss which students might benefit from targeted interventions. She selected 3 students, Callie, Sage, and Catalea, because all 3 have IEPs and were showing significant struggles with attention and organization in the classroom. As we talked through their specific needs, we saw some important patterns. Callie, for example, struggles most with her confidence. She often hesitates when asked to answer questions independently and worries about making mistakes in front of her peers. Sage has difficulty with transitions. Whenever the class moves from one activity to another, she tends to lose focus, which makes it hard for her to settle into a new task. Catalea's challenge is finishing her work. She often begins assignments, but struggles to stay on task long enough to complete them. Together, Ms. Weinhold and I decided that 2 strategies that would be most beneficial for these students are small group intervention and guided practice with scaffolded release. The small group setting was key because it provided a low distraction environment where the students could get more direct attention and support. It also gave them a chance to ask questions without the pressure of a full classroom. The guided practice with gradual release was chosen because it gave students the reassurance of working through problems step by step with help before being expected to work independently. For students who often doubt themselves, the structure can be especially powerful in building their confidence. When I implemented these strategies during our math activity on graphing fractions and decimals, I noticed positive results. At the start of the activity, all 3 students showed hesitation. They were reluctant to answer questions and second-guess themselves. But as we worked through problems together in the small group, they began to demonstrate more confidence. By the end, each student was showing greater understanding of the concepts and more willingness to participate. It wasn't a perfect process. They still struggled with confidence, but the growth, even in a short time, was very encouraging. Looking back, I can see areas where I would adjust for next time. First, I would color code the x-axis and y-axis on the graphs. This simple visual support could reduce confusion and help the students feel more certain about where to plot their points. Second, I would increase participation by having students come up to the board to graph their answers instead of only sharing their responses verbally. This would not only add movement to the lesson, but it also helps build ownership and confidence as they demonstrate their learning in front of their peers. One of the great things about guided practice is that it can also be used at home. Parents can support their children's learning by working through homework problems together. For example, a parent might solve the first problem alongside their child, asking guiding questions, and then let the child attempt the next problem independently. This mirrors the I do, we do, you do structure that we used in the activity and helps reinforce both understanding and independence in a familiar environment. Overall, this experience has shaped how I will approach teaching in the future. I've learned that even small, intentional interventions can make a big difference for students who struggle with attention, confidence, and organization. I will continue to focus on creating structured opportunities for students to build confidence, using scaffolding support to support independence, and reflecting on each lesson to identify ways to improve. These experiences remind me that effective teaching is not just about covering standards, but about meeting students where they are, helping them grow step by step, and building their confidence they need to success both inside and outside of the classroom.